There is only one God. Praise be to Him.
Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings upon everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about Good Friday. As many of you may have heard, Good Friday marks the Christian celebration of the death of Jesus Christ. Now, the question that may arise is, why would the death of someone be celebrated? Because other religions such as Islam, Judaism, and Hinduism, they do not celebrate the death of the teacher or master. Muslims wouldn't be found celebrating the death of the Prophet Muhammad, nor would Jews be found celebrating the death of Moses. But for Christians, we find that this is a very significant and important celebration where they celebrate the death of the Lord and God, namely Jesus Christ. And the reason for this is because for Christians, Jesus' death is actually more important than even his life. And this is because Christians believe Jesus came to earth for the purpose of dying for their sins. And therefore his death for them is their life, if you will. His death for them is their source of salvation, or the reason of salvation. And so really we then want to understand and really question, why would this concept be acceptable? The idea that someone could die for anyone's sins, when the Bible itself teaches in Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 21, for example, and in many other verses, the Son shall not bear the iniquity of the Father, and the Father shall not bear the iniquity of the Son. So the soul that sinneth, it shall die. So we can see that the Bible is telling us, and Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel is teaching quite clearly, that no one can be killed for anyone else's sin. So then we find that Christians believe that Jesus was killed, was sacrificed, was put on the cross to die for their sins. So we can see a contradiction between the Bible and what is being believed by Christians. And hence I ask the question, where does this come from? And really one can see this coming from when one looks at the whole concept behind how Jesus died and what Christians make of his death. One can really see its pagan roots. Now, why do I say pagan roots? This is because Christians believe that Jesus is God. And so by saying that Jesus died for them, they actually believe that God died for them, because according to them, the only one who could fulfill this infinite sacrifice was an infinite power and an infinite deity, and therefore that is Jesus, who is actually called incarnate. And so what they're saying, what they in fact saying, is that God died, But this is a shocking concept for any rational mind to conceive of, especially a mind that is understanding of the Abrahamic faiths and the monotheism of Abrahamic religious beliefs. One would then be shocked at how would this idea have developed, and where in the Bible could one, where has it went wrong? Where has this concept actually derived from? And really when one looks back at paganism, one realizes that the pagans celebrated the death and birth of their gods. And so they would believe that God would die and war God would be reborn. And this was the myth, the god called Mithra, who who when he died and was reborn or resurrected, using Christian terminology, that was reason for their celebration. So you can see now the similarity between paganism and Christianity. And you can actually see where Christianity's beliefs came from. And this is because the Romans in ancient history, in ancient Rome, were pagans. And they believed in the god called Mithra. And they also believed and celebrated a celebration called Saturnalia. And this happened to be the very same day that Jesus' birth is celebrated. I know we're talking about Good Friday, which is his death, but I'm showing you now how other celebrations, such as Christmas Day, it is now a known historical fact that Jesus was never born on December the 25th, but this was historically proven to be the celebration of the holiday or the pagan celebration called Saturnalia, which happened on December the 25th because it marked the winter solstice, which pagans had believed was the birth of their god known as Mithra, and also others refer to it as Saturn. Either way, what we do know is the pagan belief was pagan celebration was on December the 25th, and the whole concept of greenery being brought into the house. The reason this was celebrated is because the winter solstice was now when the sun began to become stronger, and this is how they believed. The days were now starting to become longer, and this was now reason to celebrate because winter was a very harsh month. And so when the sun was becoming stronger, they would believe the sun had died. Does it now sound familiar? Jesus came, God came, the sun died, winter solstice, and was reborn at the winter solstice. Jesus died and was resurrected, Good Friday, and then you have December the 25th. And the concept of God dying is a pagan concept. And otherwise, it is, really shocking, really, something that, the mind, even the rational mind cannot conceive of how the creator of the heavens and the earth could die. And how could anyone even begin to accept this idea? Well, it was accepted because it was an idea that was there and was believed by the Romans before becoming Christian. And all they did is change their label from pagan to Christian, but in reality, Christianity is only a cover for paganism. And this is clear and evident from the kind of celebrations and the ideas behind these celebrations. Would you say that celebrating Jesus' life is something to celebrate? Of course. Would you say celebrating his teachings is something to celebrate? Of course. But would you say celebrating the death of God for our sins is something to give us reason to celebrate? I begin to question now. I begin to ask, what do you mean? What do you mean, the death of God? How could the creator of the heavens die?